Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comic Core channel and our first episode for The List, the show that helps you get ready for the hunt and searching out and finding all those books that you need for your collection. This has been a show that's been in the works for a little while. This great panel of guys here has been helping me kind of craft a fun show that will hopefully be something that not only is entertaining for all of you, but I'm coming from a place of education as a teacher, and I really wanted to get more information, more resources to better enable your skills in hunting and my skills in hunting. Jeffrey is here, and he is the best person I know to shout out the chat. So, Jeffrey, can you give us a little shout out to all these folks here?
Oh, yeah, I can handle that one for sure. What's up? We got Biggie Shack in the house. What's up, Biggie? How you doing tonight? My boy, Mr. Gretzky 9966. Always good to see you. We got Comics Misexplained. Thank you for joining us tonight. We got my man, Rod Justa Rican. Good to see you, man. Hope you're having a great night, my boy. We got Caleb Comics Smurf Murphy. Yo! We got JP's Budget Collecting. How are you doing tonight, JP? We've also got Discovery Bay. We have been discovered. We got the champ who runs the camp, the great Legend. What's going on, Legend? Always great to see you, man. Hope you're having a great night. We got Chad 90 Mother effing Comics. He says he has to catch it on the replay, but thank you for joining us, Chad.
Congratulations for getting married, by the way.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations for the show. We got Luis Ramirez, 504. What's up, Luis? How are you doing tonight? We got my man, Bake the Snake. Thank you for joining us, Bake. Good to see you, buddy. And that looks like it. Thank you all for joining us tonight, man. Rob Worth. Thank you, Rob.
Jeffrey is the best. If you guys don't know Jeffrey Comic-Con Henson, you need to check out his channel. He's an awesome guy, and hopefully by the end you'll get to know all these awesome dudes here in this stream. Although most likely all of these guys are people you know. So yes, we're here to talk about the list that you use to better enable yourself to find success when you're out hunting for certain books. Be they modern keys, be they run fillers, be they classic grails. There's a lot of tools out there that you can use, and we're going to kind of go through a lot of those things to educate sort of the how, the why, and the what when it comes to hunting. When it comes to this panel, I want to introduce each person, and I'm going to ask them the same question, so we'll kind of run down the line. The man that was really the inspiration for this show is Mr. Tony Sanders. He's got an amazing show called The Hunt, which is basically the main course, if this is the appetizer idea here. The Hunt is an amazing show, comes every couple of weeks if you don't know it on Tony's channel. There's an awful guy who introduces the chat on that show, but other than that, it's a really good program you should check out. Tony, what is that first book that you remember putting on a list and maybe spending a little more time than normal to really plan out the copy that you wanted to get?
I would say the first book that I actually took a long time to get, and that was on my list, and I was just kept looking was Avenging Spider-Man #9. That was one of the ones that I was the first Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, and I just love the cover of it. So Terry Dodson, and it was just one of those books that was on my list for the hunt.
And she's carrying Spidey on her back, right?
Yeah. And it's if you look at it, it's I have it up here. It's I got a 9.8 of it. It's up. I'm quite sure the Slab Dragon's got a 9.9 or something. But it was one of the ones that I can remember the exact moment when I bought it. Whenever I found it, I was in the drive-thru at McDonald's, and it popped up on eBay, and I bought it. And my wife said I was crazy because she was like, you bought it for $100. I can't believe you did that. And I was I told her, I was it's something I've been wanting. And so
that'll definitely pay for itself now.
Yeah. Yeah. I sent it off. It came back in 9.8. So I was, it was one of those ones that's if you keep looking, you'll find it. And then when you find it, if it's the one you want, you'll know.
Sure. And Tony's got another great show looking at the end results of good hunting called The Grail. And if you haven't checked out that series, it's amazing. You really get to know some different YouTubers in the community and kind of what it is that book and what it means to them. So definitely check out Tony's channel. Our host tonight, the guy who is Comic Core champion now, JD. JD is a hunting champion. JD, do you remember the first book that you really spent time thinking about how to buy, what it's going to cost, what grade, where you're going to get it? What was that first book for you?
Of all the books I collected back when I wasn't caring about condition and everything else, was a lot of Thors and Silver Surfers. The first book I remember taking the longest time outside of a recent book that Paul Midwest Comic Man is taking care of right now for me, was probably about 10 years ago. I really wanted a nice copy of this book, Journey into Mystery 95, because it was the first one with 2 Thors on the cover, and I remember looking for one that was really there, and I kept finding them all beat up and couldn't find any cover that I really liked. And then I found this one, and I refused to have it slabbed for years. And then I think I talked to TJ, shot him an email, says, hey, I'm going to start slabbing my books. I have a really nice copy of Journey into Mystery 95 that I've kept in like a top loader for a while because I just love this cover. And probably one of my favorite Jack Kirby covers. Probably is my favorite Jack Kirby cover. Not my favorite cover. We all know that. I didn't take any time. I saw that. I bought that. But this one, I probably went through about 6 or 7 times. I would go to shops and ask them every time. And then I got a call from a guy who about 10 years ago, not even on my cell phone, a house phone. And I just moved out here to Omaha and says, this was a guy in New York. And he said, I found you a copy. If you want, send me $50 and I'll ship it to you.
What?
I said, okay. And I got this year, and I got an 8.0 white pages. And I probably, if I didn't read it, it might have been a little higher, but it's still a beautiful copy.
That's gorgeous. Wow.
Not really a key, but it doesn't have to be a key when you're talking about your list.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's kind of the point. As we go through this and get into what's on the list, for me at least, for everybody that I've talked to, there's a lot of variety to people's lists. Whether it's fill and runs, whether it's finding that key book that means something to you personally, or whether it's that hot cover that you're like, ah, man, I need this artist's best piece, and it's this book, and I'm going to keep looking for it. Yeah. Speaking of grails. We have the Grail man of all Grail men. TJ the Slab Dragon Watson is here. The AOK champion, the Slab King. TJ, you are so fantastic. And one of the big things I wanted to do with this show, I said, this is my dream team. And you were the tip of the spear here, brother. Do you remember that first book that you really put in the time and effort to really think about, this is that book and I want to get it in this grade and this is how I'm going to do it?
Yeah, the first one was about 12, 13 years ago. Hulk 181 9.4. I actually made a 10-year plan list for work they wanted to do for goals, and that was what I put down. And then one came up. They were doing a layaway. I put money down. It's just under $3,000, and I paid it off in 6 months. And
wow,
big book.
That is definitely a big book. Holy cow.
Killer.
How long did it take you to get to the point where you were ready to plop the money down? How much time did it take?
It took me to build up to spending that much money on one book. It took about 3 years before I said, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And that was just like a domino effect because there was more to follow that one.
And you said it was on a 10-year goal setting plan at work?
Yeah.
Did anybody at work say what?
Yeah, they said I was nuts. Yeah. Spending $3,000 on a comic book?
Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
And it's weird. You get that all the time, though. When you spend money like that on a book and people just look at you that don't collect, or they appreciate the movies or something like that, but they don't collect like we do. And so they look at us when we spend $300-$400 or whatever it is on a book, and they're like, "You're crazy."
I think all of our biggest fears is our wives are going to find out what we actually paid for.
Exactly. And shout out to Chad 90 Effing Comics because welcome to the club, pal.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get all mine before I get married.
Now you need to ask permission before you.
Exactly.
I was gonna say the same thing, JD. It's. I knew I had found a winner when she was like supportive of comic collecting for me, and was really and there was nothing but positivity coming. You know, that was a huge check box. You know.
I just have to ask myself, how hungry do I want to be this week?
Yes.
How much ramen do I want to eat?
How much peanut butter can I stand? Yes.
Oh, well, I think Russ is there from Houdat Comics and Movies. This guy is champion of the auction house. This guy hustles. He's got great books. You've probably seen him in the Great Legends Live auctions. This is a guy who knows how to find books at the right price and is awesome about sharing that information with the community. Russ, thanks so much for joining us, man. Do you remember your first book that you really spent time hunting?
First, the book I spent time hunting is obvious from my picture if people follow me, but it's the Ninja Turtles #1. Been after that book since I really got into like knowing the Turtles were into comics, because when I was a kid, really into the cartoons, Turtles cartoon. The movies came out. To this day, I think they're amazing. Got them on Blu-ray, matter of fact. So, and then when I found out they had Turtles comics, I said, I gotta get these, gotta collect them, gotta read them, because when I first started collecting, it was like Simpsons comics. I got the Simpsons, Bartman.
Yep.
Then I had video games.
I still want
That's a good book.
I had video games like what was it? Earthworm Jim. I was getting stuff like that, stuff that really interests me. And then I got the X-Men because I started the X-Men cartoon. So that's how I kind of got into it. Then I was like, I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna get Turtles #1. I was hoping to find it in a wild, like I found all my other Turtles books.
Wow.
But I didn't. The closest I got was the third print of #1. And then I said, it's just gonna, I was gonna go out and go get the #1. So that was the book I said, I'm not gonna stop.
And that's like everybody's biggest thing is like, like you have a book on your list, but it's like you always hope that you can find it in the wild instead of having to. You do, and it's like you might see it somewhere. You'll see it somewhere, and you'll be like, I'll find it, and you blow it off, and then you kick yourself later about it. And it's like,
and with me, like I said, I literally found almost all of my, especially the ones I can read, the copies I can go through, even one of the slabs, because I sent that off. I literally found all those in the wild. I found that third print in the wild for like cheap. That's why I was like, man, I know I'm gonna find that first print. If I can find a third print for under $20, I could find that first print for a few hundred somewhere. And I was like, when I found a second Ninja Turtles #2, I found 2 of those in first print in a while. So I was like, I know it's eventually going to happen, but
but can you wait?
Yeah, I could have waited, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity because I moved some books around to get a book that I really, really wanted, that was really from my childhood, that I grew up with. I mean, I had Ninja Turtles everything. I had Ninja Turtles curtains in my room that to this day I'm upset with my parents because we moved out of our house. She didn't take the curtains.
What?
So yeah, so that's my book that I kind of got that book when I got it, the first print. I was like, okay, what do I do now? I did that for a few weeks. I was like, what do I do now? I got the book I want now.
Right. I think that's where Thanatos is right now, right? He's like staring at that. He's staring at that first appearance of Hal Jordan, just like, well, then what? And he's got 2 of them. What do you do now, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, and you just say, what do you do now? And once you figure that out, it's all fun after that. It's just fun. Now you're just having fun.
Right.
Reading and collecting, and you're just having fun.
What do? You move down the list.
Something else makes the top 10 now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, well, now we got the man with the voice, the man who's messing around on his phone, even though we're on live right now. Mr. Jeffrey Comic-Con Henson. I have seen this dude's hunt list. It is legit and color-coded. Jeffrey, what is the book that you feel like you spent the most amount of time, or that first book that you were really putting on your list? What's that book?
Well, The first book that like I really like hunted for when I really got into collecting comics was more like a spec book, and it was Incredible Hulk issue 324 because it's not the first appearance of the Gray Hulk because obviously he was gray in the very first comic book, but it's the second appearance, first appearance in the what they recognize as the volume 1 series now. And I wanted something slabbed. I didn't really know anything about it, what I was getting into. So I bought one of those. It's a 9.4. Like if I could go back 2 years and do it again, I probably would get a 9.8. But at the time I was like $40 for 0.4. Like what was the big deal? So I just got a 9.4. But as I started to get back into collecting, I ended up getting an actual list of the entire original like volume series right here. And I do have it color coordinated green, like the Incredible Hulk. And this is what I use when I'm hunting. I started just by getting all the cheap ones. Still what I can afford is the cheaper stuff, So I'm knocking them off one book at a time. I've got like issues 270 to 474 completed, and I got like 67 more to go to have the full series.
That is a run.
But, I mean, it is, but I don't have the crazy ones that you wish you would have, that I've passed on for years and years, thinking you can find them down the road. Like 10 years ago, 181 would have been something that I probably could have got for a little bit cheaper. Like 180s going through the roof now, and then the first 6 issues are astronomical for a guy like me. So just things like that.
You got a couple of that. Was it 102 recently, right? That's the.
Yes. Oh man.
Check that one off your list, brother.
Yeah, I checked that one off twice, man. Like freaking Christmas.
So
right here. And then Tony sent me one like a month before that.
I'll say, if you guys haven't seen that episode of The Grail, I was just pumped to be in the house and watch that happen. That was a phenomenal moment, man.
We were in Chicago.
That was ridiculous, man.
As part of the educational
about it, we were like, what?
As part of the educational portion of what I wanted to do tonight, I wanted to give a chance to hear some of the best resources that these gentlemen might use when they're looking at books. And listening to the Golden guys talk the other night on Comic Core, it was interesting to hear Golden Age versus Silver Age versus Modern Age tools that you might use. So what I'm going to say is, thinking about, with your list in mind, each one of you, as we're going to zip down the line here, but thinking about your personal list, if you were only allowed to use one resource to buy a big book, what would that one resource be and why? I want to jump to JD first. JD, what would be the one resource you'd have to go to if you were going to make a big purchase?
If it was, I would use the CGC forums.
And why is that?
Resource. I know the dealers in the community on there, and I could put a wanting to buy out there, a WTB, and put the book that I'm looking for, and within a couple of weeks I'll have 5 or 6 choices to choose from, and then I can use that as the main resource to acquire the book, because a lot of people, before it goes to eBay, a lot of big boy books sometimes are on those forums. They don't have to be graded to be on the CGC forum.
I didn't know that at all. I
mostly deal with raw books on that website. But with expert graders or some people that, you figure out who's what. And TJ can attest that a lot of the pictures on there are high quality. There's always, and before a book, those guys put one on eBay, they put it for less money on the CGC site. And a lot of times there's people like me that just wanted to buy for other people too. If somebody puts out, there's a book that if I realize I have 2 or 3 of them, I put on my search criteria looking for anybody willing to buy a Silver Surfer first series book, whatever one it is. And if I have 2 or 3 copies of them, like I used to have the first Silver Surfer series from '68, I probably had outside of 1 and 4, I had a minimum of 2 copies of each, and sometimes 3 or 4 or 5.
Wow.
So then,
to get on, so you have if you have a CGC account, you can get access to the forums. Is that how
Correct.
that works?
Correct. You just click on the forums. You have a name already. You generate a name. You'll see me on there. A couple other people in the chat. TJ once in a while will be out there. He'll be on there. He's out there. But I use that as a resource because if it's wanting to buy, and for that particular, you're talking about a Grail book or a higher end book. I'm not going to put it out for.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just a random one run filler, probably.
I wouldn't use that site. I would use that site to hunt and go through the gold, silver, bronze section or the modern section or the mixed section and search category. And I could find what I'm looking for. If they say they want $40 for that book and I think it's $30, I'll just say, hey, I'll give you 30 for it. And you'll never know.
Yeah. And I'm assuming there's some trading that happens on there as well then?
Yeah, there is. There's a few guys like myself that are known as the traders that we're good faith, where instead of sending each other cash, we'll send each other the shipping payment. And I'll ship to him, he'll ship to me. And like he ships to me, he gets it, or we get it around the same time and we say, all good, everything's good. And there's a lot of trust factor with that. And that's one of the things you have to do before you do it. A lot of times I deal with guys that there's a guy, Tony might know him, Top City Comics.
I might.
Or Tony, he's out of Kansas, but he's at the Kansas-Oklahoma border area. He's real good. There's Teddy from Super World, Sharon from Worldwide Comics, Robert from Red Hood. All these guys that have been around, the big time comic guys, they like trading with me because they're going to get a book that's really hot right now, a modern, and I'm going to take some.
Which I know you've mentioned before is a strategy you've used for getting to get to your grails is buying a modern variant that you know is going to get hot or you hope will get hot, and then using that as a trading tool, which is a great method.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's like, what happened to your ASM 800 Gelato? It's gone. But I have a Doctor Strange.
Exactly. Look behind me. That's what
that helped funded my Strange Tales 110. I can, and I'm not like if it's a variant of if it's for Gelato, if it's a Gelato of like a Thor or Silver Surfer or Doctor Strange, I own them. I buy them. I keep those. But the Spider-Man was just a deal I couldn't pass up when it came out. I was on a pre-order list. I didn't think I was going to get it, and it was like I think people were paying $200 the day it came out. I paid $400 for mine.
Wow.
Before it came out because they didn't know how big it was going to be.
No, yeah, well that's the thing with those variants. You just don't know what's.
I was on Midtown Comics. I'm on an exclusive Midtown Comics list because of my umpteen number of years spending ridiculous amounts of money on their website. That they have me as a premium one, so I pay a little less than others. At the same point in time, I have to wait sometimes longer.
Sure,
but I do get. Like a lot of times, I'll get first crack at any signed book or any signing they're doing. Hey John, would you like how many Donny Cates book would you like signed? Up to 5 for free.
Wow.
Well, here's 5 Donny. And a lot of you guys in the community have been recipients of that because I usually give most of my signed books. I keep one and I'll dump the rest on as far as gifts to everybody and everything else. I think that's part of what I enjoy doing the most.
Yeah. TJ, what about you? What would be that one resource you would go to first and use, and why?
I've always dealt with eBay as my primary source. Ever since, even before I got any electronics in the house, I would go to cafes and use their computers and get on eBay or sneak on a computer at work. And then if I see something I like, I put it on my search watch list. And if it's a bigger book, and it's a company I've dealt with before that does layaway, I will contact them personally and see if they'll pull it off of eBay and put it on a layaway for me, which a lot of companies do. Yeah, that's my
great strategy.
Yeah.
So then I'm assuming you look at a lot of different elements from eBay because obviously when I first started looking on eBay, I had no understanding of the inner workings, and so it was a lot of looking at sold prices later. I didn't get the sold price. I was looking at, the list price. This is what that book's going for. That's what but figuring out to look at the sold prices and then finding out resources to figure out, it went for a buy it now or a best offer to figure out what those best offer prices were.
What I do is on eBay, I look on it several times a day. This is my search list. of all the things. Oh, sorry, all the things I search for. Can you see that at all?
I can, but that's all right. But you have your search tag.
I got a full search list,
Yeah.
and I search it every day. And then if I see something I like, I will then put on my watch list.
Oh, very.
Yeah. And I keep watching all my watch list stuff and see what I have the money for, and I will buy or contact the seller so I can get a better deal. But my watch list is also full.
Nice.
But that's how I usually work. And
Right.
sometimes some of the things on the watch list, just because they keep relisting over and over and over again, so it gives me time.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And sometimes you can notice that is the price going down a little? Are they softening their offers? Or
Sometimes they do, and sometimes things have been on there forever, and they never change the price.
wow.
Yeah.
See,
I will
I'm
say
an advocate
TJ
about the eBay. Like whenever like you get on there, like I like to always message the person and see if I can get a better deal, or always see if like they want to go outside of doing the eBay thing and
Yep.
and get a better deal. And it works sometimes. And it's like I always try to tell people like message the person. You never know. And there's like I've met like a few good people on eBay, that I buy from, like every other time, because it's like they're good, because I know I can get a deal outside of eBay.
Right.
TJ did get me more into eBay recently, and I want to thank him for that because it has helped me save money. It does save money. I'm always reluctant if I can't have an if I see a book and somebody, this is my only issue with eBay. If it's somebody with thousands of books out there, I tend to understand them, and I always ask, do you know this dealer? Do you know this dealer? Do you know this dealer? And I'll go to the CGC website as well, because there's a whole listing on there of items put out on eBay to keep an eye on, which all the dealers that put out stuff on eBay that are also on the CGC forum put out their list, what they have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we could contact them and pull it down off eBay or do the layaway, which I did. TJ knows about a very special book that I'm about to close the deal in a week on that I put on layaway.
Be ready, Hunt. It's coming.
Yeah, well, I was going to save it for this Friday, but it's probably going to have to wait. But it is.
TJ, when you're using eBay, do you prefer to do buy it now? Do you prefer bidding, or do you prefer like best offer kind of stuff?
I prefer buy it now. I always have. If I know I'm going to have some money available, I'll start doing some bidding. But bidding wars usually can end up ending with a bargain, or you're paying way more than you should because you're in a war.
Yeah, that's true.
Your blood gets up.
Yes, and you do stupid things like, "Oh no, you don't! I'm going to get this book."
Especially when you're bidding against Thanatos, right?
Yeah, because I've done it before where I've actually paid more, and then I looked later and this buy it now is $400 cheaper.
Oh wow,
That's heartbreaking, right?
Yes. Well, I said, hey, I'm the one that made the decision, so
Yeah.
All right, hey Russ, what is your number one resource? If you were going to use one resource for hunting, is there one that you would prefer?
You only have to use one. And that's kind of hard if you only have to use one. I've been using Instagram a lot. The reason why there's a lot of dealers on Instagram, there's also a lot of people who are not big dealers, but they still deal in comics. There also is a lot of like you guys, people you might know who know other people on Instagram. So it's a big resource, I think, as big as eBay, that you can bypass the fees and stuff, just like you would be like on CGC forum and stuff like that. I even see people post who post on the CGC forum says, hey, we'll be posting this book soon on the CGC forum. If you're interested, let me know before I post it. So it's a big resource that I think a lot of people are getting into now. They're still using the forum, they're still using eBay, but I think Instagram is like better than Facebook in my opinion. So that's why I really like Instagram.
I would never buy my Facebook. No.
Well, when I have been using Instagram a little bit for smaller books. I haven't gotten to anything really big yet, but I do agree that what I like about it is there's a quicker interaction. There's none of the fees.
I think it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's been a useful tool for me, especially for like, again, run fillers, things that are less than $100. I can get like a conversation going. Hey, can I grab a couple more of your books from your page? Have you noticed that as well?
I tend to find a lot of, like you said, smaller books that they seem smaller because of price, but when you look at them on eBay, they might cost double that, or even triple that. I've seen some books on there for $10. I'm like, man, I know that book's selling for $40 on eBay, but they know on Instagram first they can sell it quicker, and they don't have to wait for somebody to look at it, watch it, maybe have to wait till Friday to get paid. I feel like they have a big, faster interaction because I've been noticing a lot of books that seem cheap on Instagram, not seem cheap, that are cheap on Instagram. As soon as they post it, 2 minutes later, somebody claim and it's already sold.
Yeah.
Like, so it's almost like you really have to like be clicking on your phone every few minutes because it's gone. That's what I've been happening to me lately. I've been seeing stuff get on there and sell so quick, and then I saw people post stuff that now all of a sudden it's like if you like a giant size X-Men like behind you, giant size X-Men, like people were posting those like 6 months ago. Reasonable prices. I mean, you save up. You can save up for a couple weeks and probably get a decent grade raw copy or a low grade graded copy. Try to get a 3.5 that just sold, I think, on eBay for I think it was $1,600 or more. I forgot.
Started at $1,350, and with a minute to go, it went from $1,350 to $1,700.
Yeah, and that's insane.
$1,775. Yeah,
I paid I think 2,000 was a 9.0 like a year ago.
Yeah, $700 was a 6.5. The average price. I was talking to a guy about GSX1 because he has ridiculously good copies of it, and he's kept them all. He's a crazy X-Men fan. He said the same thing. If it wasn't for Instagram, I wouldn't sell them. I wouldn't pay the fees on eBay.
Yeah,
in the CGC forum, the guys aren't. A lot of guys on CGC forums don't buy. A lot of them don't overpay for prices. Now, a lot of guys buy price books out there, but you get things on the forum where you have a guy says, I'm doing my fire sale, and everybody's tuning in, and you have to be instantaneously quick to get a book. The second a guy promotes it, you'll get some guy, we call these guys the take bots. And there's big guys that are known as being take bots. They take everything. And
claim.
They say, I'll take it. I'll take it. But the good thing, for example, why I like eBay for search, I do search for Jungle, and Lawbreakers is a series I love, and Instagram, is that I've become friends with people on all three places enough that they know that I collect Elephant Golden Age covers. I'm actually known as that, and I'm okay with that, and that has helped me complete
the Elephant Man.
Where I even have a book for the hunt. I'm not showing it, Tony, that I got from a guy out of Florida, and the guy bought the rest of the books. He bought this guy's entire slabbed collection, not as big as TJ's, but a big slab collection, except for one. He said, I think you should have a book, give the guy $50 and we're good. I'm like, okay. He goes, this belongs in your, and I love that. That's what these guys, they know. They're like, I'm not going to be able to move this elephant unless
But TJ puts up an elephant Tarzan book
on his books, He's like, do you know something we don't? Are you specking on elephants? I'm like, no, man, it's just
specking on elephants. I love it.
He knew about Dumbo, the live action, before.
First appearance.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
What is your number one resource, brother? What was it when you think, I've got to figure out this book? Where are you going first?
All right. Well, I usually use eBay and I also use Instagram, but a way to cheat to do that too is the Key Collector app, because like it instantly links to eBay once you find the book that you're looking for, like the key that you're looking for, and you're like, okay, I want this book, and it'll link you to eBay. And
I saw several people in the chat throw out the Key Collector app pretty early on in this discussion. So I was surprised to not hear it yet. So yeah, for you, you've noticed that there's some functionality for that.
Yeah, and I like that you can actually go, like, you can look up either the title of the the book, or you can look up the character and look up, certain issues or whatever. And then like once you look up the issue, you just click on there like, I want to buy it, and it takes you to eBay. You're there, you're looking at them, and like when I'm on eBay, I don't know about TJ, but like I'll have like two screens. I'll have like, if it's like the bidding one, I'll have like, ending soon, and then I'll have like, newly listed, refresh. And it's like, I'm on my phone, I'm like refresh, because you got to look, because sometimes something will pop up, and like as soon as it pops up, somebody's like buy now, and it's probably TJ.
Could be.
So when you're using the Key Collector app, I know Bake the Snake made this comment. I think a lot of people know the pricing is not quite accurate on the Key Collector app, especially for certain books. Because of fluctuations, and they can't, he can't update that.
It just kind of gives you like a gist of what you might be looking into if you go in. Like when you it'll show like the low, the mid, the high, and it's like it gives you, but it's not accurate. But like, you're going to go in there looking for like something around this much or whatever, a couple $100 or whatever you're looking for to get. But it just depends, like, when you go in there, it's eBay, and it's like, it's not even guaranteed when you get on eBay anyway. Cause it's like, you could get on there and it's like, when I bought that book right there, the Iron Man 1, there was one that was on there for the same price. And it was like, it was a PGX, and it was like the same price. And it was like a 2.5.
What?
And like, yes, this is true story. And I was gonna buy it, and I was like, well, because I just wanted the Iron Man 1, and I was like, I want Iron Man 1, and so I was gonna buy it, and something told me hit refresh on one of the screens, and I hit refresh. Newly listed was that for the same price as that PGX.
Oh,
and so I bought that.
Smart man. So Jeffrey, we're now to you, man. Are you alive back over there?
Yeah, just eating some candy.
You got an Easter basket, I take it.
Yeah, I bought it for myself.
What's your number one resource when you're looking for your books? If you're looking at that, you were planning on coming to WonderCon. You were going to look for that 102. You were looking at a price range, saving up. What were you using to base that off of?
Well, typically I start on eBay. That's where I kind of like get the gist of my prices. But like with that being said, I don't go for like the top shit, condition. I just go basically I'm looking for the cheapest one I can find. Like this, just to give you an idea, this is one of the books like I bought, and I don't even care that it's missing parts of it. I just wanted the book, This is actually the one you bought me at your shop there, Nuclear Comics. But so I'm typically looking for the cheapest one, because for me it's about getting as many books as I can get, not so much just getting one. Like I would rather get 10 books for $30 instead of one book for 50 or something. Like that's just how I operate. But typically I start off on eBay to try to get like a price of what they're kind of, and then I shop around. I use a lot of mycomicshop.com. I like them because I feel like their grading is very accurate. They give you a good grade on the books that you're paying. They are on eBay, but usually if you buy directly from their website, it's a couple dollars cheaper than what they're selling it for on eBay. But typically I'll start on eBay. But the thing with mycomicshop.com is if the book's hot, they do have the price up on it. So you can still sometimes find the ones that are a little more expensive cheaper on eBay. Like today, I bought one that they had priced for $20 that I found for $9 on eBay. So, I mean, it's just between those two, kind of what I use the most, other than like my LCS. And it's just, for me, it's about finding the cheapest one, the best deal that I can get, because I'm not trying to get a bunch of slabs, because that's really out of my price range. Like I have to be the affordable connoisseur.
Yeah, and earlier today when I got home, I saw a really good discussion going on. JP Budget Collecting is in the chat. He's a really great guy. He does some really great informative stuff on his channel. And he had the boy who had 7 on with him. And they were doing a really interesting discussion on price of book and grade of book and how you make some of those difficult decisions. And he was making some really interesting comments about a 9.8 versus a 9.6. And sometimes straight up, it's a 75% increase just between those two grades.
It is.
And his decision is usually, I'm going to get the 9.6, and I can get 2 9.6s. He made the comment, I think it was NYX and New Mutants 98. He was like, I can get just NYX in a 9.8, or I can get both in a 9.6. That's basically the disparity at that level. And I think it's similar when you're looking at raw versus a slabbed book sometimes. And for me, what I usually go down to is, okay, I can get these 3 key books that I've always wanted raw, or I can get one of them slabbed. And for me, I'm still just trying to get at least the starter copy of some of those books before I move on to the, okay, now I want it in a higher grade. I want to get that 7.0, or I want to get whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
My biggest concern is that the staples are there. The cover is mostly complete. Like, I don't mind chunks missing here and there, but all the pages being intact. Because I mean, like, once you get it, I just like to read them. So as long as I can do that, I really enjoy it.
And Mr. Bueller's in the chat. Thank you for coming by, sir. So I'm going to run through everybody. I'm going to start with Jeffrey this time, since he's been sucking on the hind teat there for a little while. What I want you to do, let's run through and talk a little bit about what is on your list. And what I'd like is if you could give me, 3 different books that, not necessarily like maybe something in a run, or maybe something that's like the Grail, but just 3 books on your list that you want to share with us. So Jeffrey, what's on your list? I'm guessing some Hulk books.
Yeah, obviously Hulk for sure. I could just say 180, 181, and 182 are. Well, I'm gonna throw those as one. Those are like the ones that I'm really hunting for.
The Trinity.
Yeah, for me, because I have the hardcover that I was given by Mr. Gretzky of issues 1 through 6, and I'm cool with that. I do have the facsimile edition of 181 that just came out. I bought those. Other than that, like, I'm really searching for, like, I don't know. I buy things that I like. I like Storm, so I buy a lot of covers. I don't know if it's really like a list, but anytime I can find a book that I really like the cover that has Storm on it, I buy. I mean, I'm really simple, so that's kind of where
Storm
I'm at.
1. See that? Look at that.
Yeah.
Mitchum sent me that, dude. I didn't even know there was a Storm series. Now I got to go get that whole run.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I don't know how well they are, but yeah. I'd like to get Black Panther 1 too. That's high up on the list.
The first issue of his regular series,
not Jungle Action, but just like
the Kirby cover.
Yes.
Yeah. What about you, Hudat? What are the 3 books are on your list that you want to share with us?
Just 3?
Yeah, we'll start. What it is. I want to make sure everybody gets a little chance to talk.
Yes. Well, I want to touch on one thing. I do like Tony Sanders said about the Key Collector app, using that. This is the reason why I didn't say the Key Collector app, and I probably shouldn't have said Instagram either. But I was in one of my shops, the shop I really like, and their back room has a lot of their back issues, and I didn't have service, so I couldn't look in the Key Collector app for books. And I'm like, all right, I remember a lot of covers, but as you get older, you don't remember everything. So I'm like, I got to look this one up to make sure I know what I'm remembering. So I'm trying to use the Key Collector. I'm like, I have no service. This is I had a paperweight. I just wanted to touch on that, but that was funny. But the three books that I'm after, because I have a list of stuff, and I'm gonna put one Grail on there as well. But the one Grail out of those 3 books is, and I already have this copy, but I do not have the variant or the second, not the second, but the variant, because it's a New York Comic Con variant, and it's Ninja Turtles number 3. Mm-hmm. And it's very distinct to know the difference, because you might be able to find them in a while, because not too many people know about them. And if you're not a big Turtle fan, or if you don't know really the background and all that stuff, because I told Count Von Strange, because he collects turtles, and he was like looking for that book. I said, hey, if you look for the book, make sure if it says Lear's Pizza, if that's in white, that's the variant. That's like $1,000 to $3,000.
That's like the only way to tell, because I wouldn't have even known. So that's
well, that's the easiest way to tell. It's certain things that are in white, but that's the best one. When I looked at the picture and you can see, that's the easiest one to look at for it's Lear's Pizza is in white. compared to the original that's in blue, more bluish. So I'm like, I told him, and I said, that's the one you want to look for. If you see it, buy it. I don't care what the price is. If somebody says they're selling it for $200, it's for him to pay him $200 and hurry up and leave out of it because you're gonna be happy. So that would be my top book out of the Grail book for the Ninja Turtles run. The other books I'm looking for is a Jungle Action, because I want to work on my Jungle Action for Black Panther. That's why I gotta go back from Key Collector Act was great, but you can't keep your whole collection on. So I want to start from 5 through like 10, because I think I know I have 12 through like 14 or 15. I was like, I want to get that first run so that get that whole Jungle Action. So I definitely want to get Jungle Action 5 to kick it off. I had 5 before, sold it to end up, then that helped fund the Fantastic Four 52, his first appearance. So I got the first appearance, moving to other books. So now I want to go back and get that book again. And another book that's not a big book, it's actually a pretty small book in my opinion, is Bebop and Rocksteady's first appearance. I think it's
nice.
the Archie one, where it's I think it's the number 1. And I've been looking at that. I've been following that on eBay. And I'm just like, $10. I don't know. I know if I see him $10 or less, I know I should be able to find it somewhere for like $1.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that drives you, right? That like, do I buy it this way, or do I just hope that I?
And I can't believe that book is so cheap, because like they're to me a staple in the Turtles, like, background, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that'd be my third book I have to get. I got to get that Turtles number 1 from the Archie comic run.
Nice. Yeah. All right, Tony, what do you got? What's on your list, sir? And I don't want to ruin the hunt. I don't want to ruin anything.
No, this won't ruin the hunt.
But I know that you've got if I know you're like all of us, you got this epic list. So just cherry pick a little for us.
I have like weird, sometimes it just picks off of eBay. Sometimes it just picks off on how I feel. But like right now, I have really been like on the hunt for Green Hornet number 1, the one with Kato and Green Hornet on the cover, and it's actually Bruce Lee actually has Kato on the cover.
The Gold Key one.
Yeah, Gold Key one. Yes,
Gold Key. It's tough to find.
Yeah. I want one of those, and
not cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
What year was that?
67, 68.
Yeah, something
like that. But it's actually on the cover of the actual book and stuff. That one, and I'm also looking for another crazy expensive, kind of expensive book, Space Ghost number 1. I want Space Ghost number 1, and I'm not talking about the Alex Ross one. I'm talking about Space Ghost, the
Hanna-Barbera.
Yes, Gold Key too.
Gold Key, yep.
Yeah, Gold Key. And I'm looking for that one, and always on my list is I'm always gonna say X-Men 1. It's always gonna be on my list. So, but those 3.
Well, and I think that's one of those books. Just like Matt Thanatos and his Showcase 22. I think it's just when you have that character, whether it's Thor over there on the left or Hulk in the middle, you have that character, and that's that iconic appearance that you really want to hold on to. So yeah, X-Men 1 is going to be on my list for life, right? It's one of those. Yeah. I mean, how many first appearances in that book? It's just insane.
That's like my favorite villain is Magneto, and it's like I love the X-Men, and it's just like that's one of those ones that. It is like every time it's like I keep telling my wife, I'm like that might be the cause of our divorce.
Just make sure you get to keep it in the paper.
Book.
I got an extra couch, Tony. It's okay.
You don't want visitation rights on the book.
Next time y'all see me, I'll be living with Jeffrey.
This is gonna be his new bedroom right here, live
next to each other.
Oh man, Thanatos is in the chat, brother. Yeah, we've been talking about you all night. Not throwing shade, throwing respect.
What's up, Thanatos?
I'll tell you, TJ, I've been waiting to ask this question of you. I wrote this question down for you. I want to know what 3 books you're going to mention when it comes to what is on TJ's list.
3?
Yeah, I know.
That's the same thing I said.
If you had to pick 3 books, you're like, you know what? I mean, run fill. I mean, my list is great. It's run fillers. It's first appearances. It's keys. It's silver. It's modern.
Well, my 4 that I have that I really want to get this year might surprise you, but one is Moon Knight #8.
Oh, I love that cover.
In 9.6 or higher, because
That's a tough find.
This is a son of a gun to get. I took some notes too.
So that's a Sienkiewicz?
Yes, and #8. There's only 13 copies on the CGC census.
Wow.
13. Now, issue 7, there's 46. Issue 9, there's 37 graded copies. This one only has 13.
Why do you think that is?
The black cover.
So people just don't even want to bother slabbing it. They're
They're not
like,
even
you know what?
bothering
Too
slabbing
many little dings. They're not even going to send it in.
Yeah, and there's only 10 copies that's in 9.6 or better, and I want a 9.6 or better on that one.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other one, Demon Hunter,
Ooh.
Atlas Comics. He was also repurposed as Devil Slayer for Marvel after Atlas went out of business. And this one,
Who did the cover? I like the cover.
that is Rich Buckler.
That
Classic.
skull in the background is killer.
And there is only 18 copies, but only 4 9.6 or better.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought I put a bid of $400 the last time this came up at a 9.6. I lost.
What?
Now this one
Ooh, yeah.
is
Tiger Shark.
the bane of my life for the last 2 years. This one hardly ever comes up for sale in 9.0 or higher. And every time it does, it sells instantly before I can come up with the money for it. 'Cause
Which one was that? 5 or 6?
this is 5.
5.
Yeah,
The
6
first
is
one.
one of my favorite covers. I can't find a decent 5 that I would put in my collection.
No, 5 is very hard to find. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of copies. There's like 46 copies in 9.0 or better, but no one is parting with them. This is really hard. And every time it comes up, it's gone instantly.
They're holding on to that one just like the Fantastic Four #4. I've been
Who
telling
did
people
that cover, by the way?
That's Drink. It's a Basima.
Yeah.
And this one is also another hard one to find in the Savage Sword of Conan series, number 12.
Yeah, 12 is great.
Is that a Frazetta? Is
That's
that
a Boris cover.
That's Boris.
Yeah.
TJ and I have this thing about Boris. We love Frazetta, but we love Boris just a little bit more.
There's only 13 copies graded in 9.6 or higher.
Jeez.
And every time this one comes up, it sells before I can buy it too. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But those are my immediate want list.
It's hard to argue with those, I'll tell you. Those are phenomenal. And some of those, I was just saying, you were showing this earlier. Go ahead and scroll. Yeah, I'll put the camera on TJ there. I can't, JD, can you?
Yeah.
This is my Grail list.
Hang on one second here.
That's crazy.
He has sent that to me. If I ever find one, I promise I'll find it.
Oh my God. How many pictures are in there? How many images?
Let's see.
But
Go to the bottom.
and
377.
I love it.
let's talk about what some of the things I think out.
I added this one yesterday.
Wow, Master Comics. That's a tough one. Yeah. And you just got a Heap cover, didn't you? A Heap book, Airboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think Heap. People don't know Heap. Heap is pre-Swamp Thing, pre-Man Thing, pre all of them.
Yep. It's the original Swamp Monster. Yep.
Yep.
That's cool.
And this is how I keep track of what I buy. Like, this is what I bought in 2017. I put the pictures on an album on my phone, and this is what I bought in 2017. I was very lonely in 2017.
Wow. The first
well,
swipe,
I would say you
with
did
his
well.
finger out, I'd have been divorced.
There's some people in the chat throwing out some books that they would put on their lists. I see Tech 359, Lois Lane 70, ASM 194, some JP budget collecting comments. Mastodon has New Gods #1, which that's a great book to get.
Oh.
Weird War Tales #1.
There's some Grail books going up on Instagram tonight for sale. That's going to be some really nice books. Matt Thanatos is listing some books for sale.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is tonight.
Got to clear it out and pay off that debt he's got now.
So if you want one of that, those books, tonight's the night.
Rob Wurst has got Batman 227, Detective 359, and of course Iron Man 55. That's a biggie book. So JD, didn't want to leave you off that list. What are 3 of the books you want to share, or if there's another? Now look at that.
A few more than that, but not too many. I have a list of my Doctor Strange going on right now. That's what I've been focusing on the last couple of while. Some Strange Tales, the Doctor Strange first run, the 169 to 183, and I'm almost.
Make sure you click off of TJ there. You got to click off TJ.
Oh, sorry.
Not that we don't want to see TJ.
Hey, JD?
Yes.
You had the first appearance of Nightmare?
Which one is that?
I'm not sure.
I'm working on.
You better grab that one soon.
If he's in, see the Strange Tales, I have more than half of the ones I need. The Doctor Strange run, I'm working on just some Marvel. Actually, I have something I'll share with you guys right
Strange
now.
Tales 110.
I have
he was in 110 Nightmare Wong.
Okay.
Doctor Strange.
I have 110.
So that's first appearance of Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me share you with my list here of what I'm looking for. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's on my list.
Yep, this is the one on my list. I'm looking for a nice copy of this one. I have turned down too many copies and everything else just because every raw copy I have doesn't hit the grade I want for every one of these. And while I've read the book and it's a beautiful cover and everything else, but let me just run down the list right now. The Doctor Strange 169, of course. This is a big one. That's his first full cover appearance. Then the Beatles cover on Strange Tales 130. Clea Must Die. It's just one of those great Maurice Severin covers. First, Doctor Strange Outside is Fantastic Four 27, the Frank Bruner cover. And a Silver Surfer appearance on top with Doctor Strange and the Hulk is beautiful right there.
Yeah, I love that
Doctor
book.
Strange #2. I actually have that copy, and it's
I have it too, but it's
mint.
not. No.
Yeah,
That #2 doesn't come up very often either.
Yeah. No, two is the one that, I mean, when I was out shopping and everything else and going to cons, I did walk away with a few. When you knock a bunch off your list, you get excited. This is technically his first cover appearance because he shows up down here. But that 120, that 122 is the first full head to toe of him. Came out the same month as Fantastic Four 27. So the list I have this is just my Doctor Strange list, and all the X's are the ones I have, and it's fun. I'm one away. I'm a completist, so I'd really like to complete.
So like JD, like when you mark something off, like have you ever just like marked something off and you sit there and you think like, okay, so I've done that now, and it's like how long does it take you to think of something new to mark off?
Well, that's the thing. Other items over here is on the other ones. This Journey to Mystery 78, which I didn't include there.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite ones, and if you don't know what that is, it's actually pre-hero Marvel, but there's a character there by the name of the Sorcerer. And
Like a tryout of Doctor Strange.
right, it's the test one, and it's before Ditko took it over. Ditko might have drawn, but Ditko is the big reason for Strange Tales during that run up to 150 probably, or 140.
What issue was that one with the Beatles?
132. I think it's 130.
Wait, which one is it you said?
That's the Beatles on it there. It's a great cover. It's Baron Mordo staring at him. It's also one of my favorite stories. Marvel Unlimited app is fantastic, and I love going to look at the artwork inside. The one thing about Doctor Strange, though, is there's a lot of words, and this was brought up tonight on the Symbiote show, and I have to agree with them on this one. Doctor Strange is a book you have to read more than once because he uses all these Wanda Watum, Living Tribunal. It's beyond what you could think. He casts spells, and you really want to get that down. but it's fun and it's Doctor Strange. You know, my Thor list is a different list. It's mostly I'm a completist, so my goal is to get all Thors, and I'm all up to 400 and change, 700 and change. I've got a decent amount. I've got Avengers is another list, Defenders, but tonight it's all about me and Doctor Strange. The next time I promise I'm going to show more out there, but Strange Tales is one of those that is just and Doctor Strange won the 169. If you like Doctor Strange, read the originals. They're better. And John, I think you and I can agree that Marvel Premiere is the most underrated series of Marvel ever did. It's not a Swamp Thing, but it is the best reads. And it's Barry Windsor Smith covers. And that's the thing. I mean, you're talking history and everything else. But with comics, you go from Ditko to Steranko to Maurice Severin to Dan Atkins. And then you get into the Bruner run. And then you get into the and you get the Bruner, then you get out of nowhere, Barry Windsor Smith takes on a 9 to 10 issue set, and it's just ridiculous artwork all throughout.
Totally. Now I know Jeffrey and JD just hit on the idea of having a run and wanting to fill in pieces of a run. Jeffrey is the champion of run filling.
Well, I mean, that's for me. That's how I work. Like, you know, if I've got a big gap, I usually will stay away from that. And ones that, like, if I'm missing like 1 or 2 books in that run, I'll go after those first. That way, I like to try to fill the runs, and then I'll go back and start filling in the gaps after I get my bigger runs completed.
So, besides Hulk, Jeffrey, are there any other runs that you're working on?
Yeah, what kind of? I just got into some X-Men, and I'm looking to collect the Messiah. Was it the Messiah Complex? I am
there's
trying
one in
to,
there that you got to watch out for.
I'm still quite a ways away. I think I've got like 5 or 6 of the set, which is like a 16 issue set or something like that. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm working on right now, outside of Hulk.
And JD, he's got his Thor, his Doctor Strange,
Silver Surfer. I'm pretty much done with that. I have
Defenders.
Defenders. I'm missing like a few in the middle. After 20, like some of the 1 or 2 of the early 20s, a few of the 30s, but other than that, from 45 on up, I'm good to go. Avengers, odd lots in the hundreds. I mean, like books that are like $5 or something. But I just don't. I haven't. You know, when I go to a con, I take my list with me. Nowadays, it's great. You can take this, and this is your list.
Right. I will say I use the Pages app, and I type a lot in there. That's an app that I've used a lot for keeping track of things.
Now, doing this years ago, and this is going to make TJ laugh, and anybody else who used to ever do this before, but I used to have a spiral notebook and a black marble composition book that, you know, back in the day, where you would write down and check off what you would have. And there was no apps. We didn't carry around cell phones in the 80s and 90s. I remember going to the shop with this book in my back pocket, pulling it out and turning it over. And TJ, you got to be laughing because I know you did. And you'd sit there and turn over and be like, okay, being a completist on this issue, I was like, I need a Thor 154. It's this, everything else. Or I need this. And people would be like, okay. And if you didn't have a list, if I didn't bring my list, I always walked home with a book I already had. I always did. For some reason.
Nowadays, I write the books that I've got on the top of any of the lids for the boxes I keep them in. And when I go to a con and I'm hunting for a run filler, I snap photos of the covers of the boxes.
Nice. Very good call.
I just look right at it. I'm like, do I have that one? No, I'm missing that one.
I still carry the paper with me because I can always hand it to someone and say, if you get the, you know, and I bring extra copies of it. Especially I did that at not at Planet. I did it mostly. I used to do this at smaller cons, but I'll be doing it again, probably in Michigan. I'll be dropping off to dealers I know and say, here's my list. Let me know what you have. I'll be back in about a couple hours. Let me know. And they'll pull for me.
That's insane. Wow.
And it's great. And they'll do the digging for me because, you know, I hunted with Tony. I go right to a certain group. And I'm like, this, and I talk to the dealer and I'm like, and I'll either, if I read the dealer, I'm like, he's going to do this for me or not going to do it for me. But if I do, I just, here you go. And a lot of them, some of them know, like the elephant thing, a niche thing anyway, so they know me as that. But those are ones I will only hunt in the wild unless there's some on eBay. That I'll get a text from, a lot of you guys in the community send me out messages. Do you own this one? I'm like, no. I'm looking for it, and that's about the right grade level for those books.
So I know you're collecting runs of Ninja Turtles. Are there other runs that you're going for that are on your list for
only run I would say after I probably do the Volume 1 run, I'll probably do the Jungle Action run, and probably that Archie Ninja Turtles run. I'm trying to limit my runs because I know it can get out of hand. I'm trying to not be a completist.
It's hard, right? It's hard.
It is hard, but I'm like laser focused to be like, all right, if I'm gonna get a run, it's gonna be something I really love and cherish. Which that's why I said the Ninja Turtle. That's why I was like the Jungle Action, Black Panther, and the other part of the Ninja Turtles. Now I might veer off to another run because since I really liked it, but I probably won't get the whole run because that's a humongous. It's the Simpsons run. I'll probably get maybe the first. I'll probably pick a number and stick to that number, like a number that means something to me. Like a 25 jumped in my head because I was born on the 25th day. So I would probably pick a number like that and say, all right, I'm gonna focus on that run for that. But I try not to get too many runs. Just because I want to get certain tiers of books and that I think can hold over time and the characters mean something to me. And, it's not, and I look at these shows and I'm not trying to say anybody's a hoarder, trust me, but I don't want to put my daughter in predicament when I pass. And then she's looking at like, what do I do with this?
Well, yeah,
and then our friend says, I know what to do with it.
We're worried about the slab avalanche over there behind TJ.
But because I can tend to get out of hand and hoard stuff. So that's why I kind of say that for myself.
But I think that's a genuine concern, right? It's not just like financially, if I buy, all of these X-Men books and they're like $5 a pop, or I could buy this one key book. There's that, but like there's also like storage space wise. You talk about JD was saying several runs of Silver Surfer, plus you got to before long you're like, okay, I gotta pare down, which is a conversation that a lot of folks in the community seem to be having.
Like I'm paring down, and that means that's why I'm trying to focus on those runs because that's how I've been noticing I've been doing better at getting those runs because I've been focusing on that. Like I literally knocked out almost the whole Ninja Turtles Volume 1 run before we even talked about this show, the list, and I was like on one run to a shop that had almost all of them, and I'm only missing 13 now, and not of the variants or some second prints that I want. But of that first print, Volume 1, I'm missing 13 of that, and that's insane to think about. Because, a lot of them are hard to find.
JD, you wanted to say something there? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's funny you brought up space, and that's why I limited the characters and the runs I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I have weird runs. Obviously, the Elephant covers, the Bernie Wrightson list I have going on. But one of the things I recommend, and this is just for me, is if you do create a list and you want to be a completist, space is important as well as be patient. I mean, there's nothing worse than completing an entire list. It's like, what do I do now? You're just going to go to another list. So I'm like Silver Surfer. When I got the last one, the Defenders one, I said, well, that's it. And I sat there and somebody says, how many long boxes do you have? I'm like, well, there's 9 over here, long boxes here, and then there's all these behind me over here. And Thor is literally every Thor is there pretty much. Recent ones. I'm working on my Journey into Mystery run and my Kirby Thor, then Buscema. I actually do it in stages to where even though if I need a Buscema book in my list or a Simonson book in my list or I need one and I see it, I'm going to stick to my list and say Kirby first, go in age order, or unless it's a ridiculous plan. And a lot of times it depends on if I want it slabbed or not, and that's a huge portion of it. I mean, there are people that hate slabs, and I can understand that completely. I was not a slab guy for a lot of books, and then all of a sudden I started talking to more people, and I says, I kind of think of myself as preserving some of this stuff. And like this Doctor Strange run I have, there's a big stack down here. I could just show down here. My goal was every Doctor Strange under 25 cents because I'm a big collector of his stuff. This is just Strange Tales and the Doctor Strange run and the however many 10 of the 11 Marvel premieres, and I'm working on it. But I know exactly how much room I have left in my Doctor Strange box, and the list completes that, and that's it. So somebody's like, "Oh, do you have a Doctor Strange 31 from the next series?" I said, "That's $1.50 book. It's got a Silver Surfer on it." Yes, I do have it. It goes in a separate box. I keep my runs together and the extras in a separate box. It's just the way I do it. I don't know how anybody else does it, and there's no wrong way, like I always say, to collect. No wrong.
I mean, and same with organizing. You got to organize it in a way that makes sense to you, so you can keep track of all that kind of stuff. TJ, I'm sorry, TJ and Tony, we're going to get to this question here for you. So, TJ, what runs, if any, have you been working on?
I've been working on my Warren Vampirella run. I'm about 74% complete.
Wow.
I'm also working on the Warren other magazines, Creepy, Eerie, and I'm about 50% complete. Old high grade. And I'm working on Savage Sword of Conan, 9.6 or higher, and I'm probably about 54% done on those.
Very
Wow.
TJ, you'll laugh. I just picked up a Eerie 68 Muck Monster, Bernie Wrightson storyline with the spaceman on the cover.
Yes.
And another one I got them both at a shop in town. I'm not going to show them because I'm saving up for the hunt. And they asked me, I know you buy these things, is $10 a good price? I'm like, it's a little too good of a price. Especially 9s or higher, and these grades, you usually get them for $50. He goes, I paid 50 cents a piece for everything. So if you want them, you can have them for $10. I'm like, okay. Wow. He goes, that profit margin, they said I can't turn down the profit margin. And you're about the only guy who walks in here is going to ask for this crazy, creepy stuff. Yeah. Creepy stuff. Because they don't like selling them in the bookshops and the secondhand shops and everything else. Because a lot of the covers are, shall we say, not a little risque, Yeah. I do, and TJ, this box here is just my Warren box. Yeah. Right here. So.
And I do have to go on the registry, the CGC registry, to see what I actually own half the time before I buy something.
Nice.
Every time I don't do that, I buy something I already have.
Yeah.
Now I was going to ask TJ. I'm assuming that you've said before that you only count a book if it's been slabbed.
Yes.
So these percentages are your slabbed ones.
Yes.
So do you prefer to buy it slabbed, or would you prefer to buy a raw copy and slab it yourself?
I prefer to buy it slabbed.
And why is that?
I know exactly what I'm going to get. I don't have to have the anxiety of sending something out and having it not be the grade I want, and then have to buy another copy. Once and done. Yeah.
Yeah. So even with those Moon Knights that you're looking for, you're like, I'm not gonna worry about it because it's too easy to get a 9.0 or an 8.5.
Yeah. I bought a raw copy that was advertised as being a 9.8. It's a 9.0 at best. No, I'm just done buying raw copies unless it's Golden Age.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Tony. I know you are an X-Men guy, so I'm assuming there's some kind of an X-Men run happening.
Actually, you would be surprised. It's Savage Dragon. So anyway, no, playing.
Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon shoes.
No, it's not Savage Dragon. Actually, I'm trying to finish up my Captain Marvel, but really
Marvel, right?
Marvel, the original Cap. Yeah, I'm trying to finish that up. But what I'm really starting to work on is my kids are Invincible fans, and I have Invincible 1 and 2, and I have 51 and like a couple other random ones here and there. And so I told them that we will start collecting the whole because it's already over. So they want to collect the whole Invincible series from 1 to the very end. So I told them we would do that. So right now, like, I got to get like 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's like those are like the expensive ones. But I've already got 1 and 2, so those are like 2 of the top ones to get. So, but like it's just to get those done out the way for my kids. So if that's what they want, that's what we're gonna get.
Yeah, right. Your collecting shifts a little when they start being interested. JD's going to learn that at some point here. He's
Oh yeah.
start having to deal with all the squirrel girls he's going to be collecting.
He's gonna have to deal with when his son. His son's gonna be like,
my daughter, no.
his son's gonna be like, Superman's better than Thor, Daddy.
He has his only thing he has to sleep with and walk around with. We have 5 of them. He's got multiple copies of a Superman doll, like a plush thing with a that he sleeps with. And his crib is nothing but Captain America, Thor, all the Marvel guys, Hulk, and he's got all these things. But you take that Superman away, you're gonna see the Hulk. And so I do have a Thor versus Superman cover, the George Perez cover. That it's one book, just JLA versus Avengers. That I just kind of show them Thor's better. Thor's better.
Hey, John?
Yeah.
I just found out yesterday, because I'm putting all my books on Go Collect, and I'm going through the registry, that I actually own a Savage Dragon #1 I didn't know I had.
The image. I'm assuming it's the Image run.
Yes. Yeah.
Not the graphic fantasy. If you owned a graphic fantasy, I'd be freaking right now.
No.
There was a comment in the chat that I thought was interesting about Grails and a high quality book. So I only have a couple more questions before we wrap it up because we've been going for a while. But the question was, is there a defect that is an instant no-go for you when it comes to a book that you really value, that you really want? Is there a kind of defect that you're instantly like, I'm out, I'm done? I mean, obviously for TJ, it's anything.
No. For Golden Age, incomplete story. I mean, incomplete. Something's missing. Something is missing. It's a no.
Sure. What about you, Jeff? Is there anything that's like, is there a defect that you're like, no, I'm done. I don't want that copy.
I just want it to be attached to the cover. That's pretty much my biggest thing.
Yeah. Sure. Thanatos is saying centerfold detached, cover detached, or incomplete. Sure.
I don't mind missing chunks, like I was showing on this book right here. There's a chunk missing out of that. There's a chunk right there missing out and down this line. But as long as the staples are there and it's attached, I'm good.
Yeah. For
Tony,
me, the Golden Age is the only thing that counts for the missing stuff. The detached cover, that'd be fine. But anything that's Silver Age or higher, it has to be a really good grade.
Makes sense.
Tony, what about you? Any defect that you're like, nope, I'm out?
All right, defects for me on a book, like, all right, if it doesn't present well, and if it doesn't present well on that, then it's like, okay, I'm out on that. But then it's like also, if it's like, if I can't open if it's like, hold on, let me show. Like this book, like if I cracked it open, I could read it from front to back, But if it's not, if I can't do that, I'm sorry. I think that's what TJ is saying.
Incomplete, right?
Yeah. If you can't read like the whole story, I feel like I can't do it. Like I feel like I'm wasting my money buying the book.
Sure.
Good point.
What about you, JD? Is there a defect you're like, I'm done?
Outside of the incomplete, which is number 1. Number 2 is faded cover.
Don't be burning Tony like that. Don't be burning Tony like that.
Hey, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I have a thing about faded covers on Silver Age and Gold, and honestly, it's a Golden Age thing with me. Is I actually look for ones with vibrant colors.
So presentability, in a sense.
Right, and true colors on there. I mean, if I find one that's lower grade, like if you take a lot of times you'll see a slab book that might be an 8.0 versus a 6.5, but the colors are on the 6.5. I would drift towards the 6.5 in a Golden Age book any day. It's just because the color won't come back.
Right. Tebow is in the chat. Thank you, Lord of the Long Box, for coming by, sir.
Tebow missed my entire Doctor Strange spiel.
Yeah, he can catch the replay. Don't worry. And then I didn't get to who that is. There a defect for you for a Grail that's like, you know what? It's all. If it's on my list, I don't want this flaw.
I have grown for my Grails because I want to have literally all like the first big appearances. I want to have all those, and I noticed I had to expand my what to accept. Like, I definitely want the cover to present very well. I want the cover to present very well, in my opinion. I don't want anything missing from it, pages missing, stuff like that, stuff cut out. Now, if it's like a little chunk missing out of the back cover, I'm fine with, because when I get it slabbed, I'm not looking at the back cover. I'm looking at the front, and like Silver Age Key Big Boy book. It can be detached from the cover, but it has to all be there. In my opinion, like this book I showed on the hunt, this Tales of Suspense 39. If you look at this book like this, doesn't it look like nothing's wrong with it? It looks like nothing wrong with it, but it has a chunk kind of like missing out of the back corner, like a little bit out of back cover corner, and it's detached from the cover. Sure. But it looks beautiful, and I know once I put it in a slab and it's safe, and I know nothing will happen to it, it's going to look even better. It might only get a 1.8 or 2.0, but it's complete. It's all there. These books are hard to find, these Silver Age Mega Grails, and these are better in the affordable price range, I've noticed too, that are better to have. And like, I'm going to slab them anyway. Yeah. So let me get a lower grade, and it's more affordable for people. Even if I get to that point, I want to sell stuff. It's easier to sell a 1.8 to a 2.0 than to sell the grade I had before, which was a 5.0. Sure. Signed 5.0. Who's going to buy that? All the people I know is not going to buy that. I got to get it to a dealer, and the dealer's going to give me like 70% of what it's really worth. And that's why I kind of decided, like, kind of lean back to, like, it can be detached if it's a Grail, but as long as I'm missing pages or missing coupons, stuff like that, I'm fine with it. It has some tape on it. That's fine. When I was a kid, I did that
for a while, so I'm used to Marvel chipping and some of that kind of stuff. Stains bother me, obviously. Any water damage, wrinkling, that kind of stuff bug me. But I'm with Tony even on, like, if there's an ad cut out, but it doesn't affect the story, like I'd be more willing to like take a huge price cut and be able to get that than just like.
It'd be like the same thing, like you're missing the Marvel value stamp out of a Hulk 181.
As long as it's not cut out of a spot where you're, affect the story.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've noticed, like, if something's detached from the cover, if it, and compared to something that's cut out, the prices are so close, depending on, and you might be able to find, you'll find that the prices are the same. So I'll take the one, that might not be cut out, even though it's detached, because if you're gonna slab it anyway, it looks better with less stuff saying. You're like, wait, what does all that stuff say? What is missing? Something out of page 2, page 12.
I will say there's something that some Golden Age guys do, and I'm helping guys do that right now. If there's a book that you bought that's coverless, for example, but the inside is really good, and you find a qualified that is an incomplete with the interior, say, missing centerfold, missing that from there, and you can marry the cover on, let's say, Witch's Tales 25, which is a famous bell cover of a head and bell. My friend has got a beautiful coverless copy. I mean, it's white pages, gorgeous. I told him, keep it preserved in your Mylar. We can find a detached cover or a green label, or when I'm in a detached cover, we'll marry a book together on a mega key. That can be done.
Sure.
Trying to save that, and that's something with mega. In your mega books, you're
not talking about a modern book here.
No, you're talking mega. Your mega, like the golds are the golds. That are out there. It's a common trait that a lot of dealers, and I was talking to one in particular about this, says, what if I did this? He goes, it's the smartest decision you can do. I buy green label covers, crack that open, sit there, give it to a restorer, says, here's the book, restore this, make it look better, get me a purple label, which they do, and they switch it to a purple, and they get a 7080 purple label
From a Golden Age book, which is insane.
From a Golden Age book that would be in a blue label would be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. That they now took $15 and $100, turned it into $6,000.
Make sure they use the original staples too.
Yes, staples have to be very, very important. But that's how you get, you never know what you can find out there. And that's one of the fun things about this show is different lists, different things. And I'm with Jeffrey on that thing. If the cover's got a chunk out and it's not going to affect the main characters, you might be able to find a great deal on that book.
Yeah.
Really great deal. I mean, you can own a book that you would never normally want or you wanted, but you couldn't afford at that time. And hey, you can always upgrade later on. Look at Thanatos.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I have like a million more questions, but it's getting late, and I don't want to make this go on forever. We definitely want to do another round of this at some point. And this rotating panel, it's not always going to be all of us every time. We've got very busy schedules. I mean,
you will be in this chat.
I've got 3 live shows already a week, so we're going to try to bring other people in to sort of fill out the panel from week to week. But these are the all-star hosts of this show, and every week you can count on some of this cast being with us to then run through more of these topics because there's plenty more to discuss and plenty more books. Obviously, you've seen just a small fraction of what these lists are and how to really research these things when you're really hunting for these books. I'm going to let everybody run through one at a time, and if there's anything they want to mention, any shows coming up, anything they want to shout out. Huge thank you to all of these guys for coming. So, Jeffrey, what's coming up for you? I know you got shows every weekend. What's coming up for you?
I don't even know. I got all kinds of things coming up, man. Left and right.
I doesn't even know.
I don't. But people I work with text me and let me know we got a show that day. So they keep
you got Coast to Coast on Saturday. You got the big show on Sunday.
I got 2 shows on Sunday. Yeah, I got the hunt, and then we're doing that wrestling. I think I might even have 3 shows on Sundays now. So every other Friday we got the hunt. Every Saturday I got Coast to Coast with my boy Rod the Rican. Me and Big Will do a show every Sunday morning. I got the Direct Edition Squad, 5:30 p.m. Sundays evenings. We got this show on Monday. I got Bro Talk, me and Tony do, and we just feel like getting on and doing whatever. I think we got another show on the Comic Core we're doing too. Even I think awesome.
The wrestling show.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Mr. Garrell, one of my good buddies. He's been making videos. He's doing great. Keep up the good work, man. He just did
a live stream tonight. Yeah,
for sure. Keep it up, Mr. Garrell. You're doing a great job.
And, if you can, reach out to me on Instagram or John's Comics with Kids on Instagram about Wednesday.
And then one last shout out is to my boy Thoro Q Boro. If you don't know him, check him out. He's doing some really cool dollar auctions on the daily. It's you go in there, he's dropping letters to 6 books at a time. First person to claim that book gets it, and he's putting like a pool box together for you, so you can claim up a bunch of books throughout the week, throughout the month, and then he'll ship them all out to you. He's doing something really cool. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go check him out.
Awesome. I saw you throw a little shout out to him in the chat earlier, Jeff. That was awesome. Tony, what do you got coming up, brother? You're busting out new shows all over the place.
Oh, let's see. We got I got to do the What's Your Grail on Thursday.
Slab or not the slab? That was the other one.
Yeah, Jeffrey. I was gonna bring that up too. We're bringing back the slab or not the slab
Tomorrow night,
and
it was gone too soon, but now it's back.
And let's see.
Yeah, Bro Talk. It happens every once in a while. You and Jeffrey jumped on.
Bro Talk pops up every once in a while. Then we have like I said, Comic Head is going to be on What's Your Grill. Then we got the hunt on Friday, and then we're going to do a wrestling show. C. Woodard, Jeffrey, and the Great Legends going to be on there. We're going to figure out when we're going to do that.
That's awesome. And who dat? You got auctions all over the place. You're doing all kinds of stuff. I hope you're still there. You what do you got coming up?
Did I get a question asked?
Yeah,
I just came back. That's kind of funny because I was actually helping my wife got.
Oh, sorry,
man.
What do you got coming up? Any auctions coming up? Any shows you got dropping here soon?
Well, we got the auction this Wednesday on All About Comics. We're doing an auction there, and I think we have Legends auction in 2 weeks. I won't be there, but I'm gonna promote the crap out of it that he's gonna be doing on his channel. Got date night, so I won't be there for that one. But I know we got the auction. I said this Wednesday. I think it's at 8 p.m. Central.
Nice.
I have my contest going on for 500 subscribers. So still looking at that. That people have time to do that, but the earlier the better, so I can keep track of it. I think might have some other shows going on. I don't know if anybody said anything about those shows. So
Working on it.
yeah, we'll figure that stuff out later. But it's supposed to be a show coming back. But we'll see they'll see more details about that later on. But that's all I got going on. That's all I got going on. And besides the big thing coming out this weekend, Avengers Endgame, I would love to do a review with some people about it. But I will do my walkout review, I'm probably gonna be amazed like I was in Infinity War.
Sure.
And I hope I want to bring my daughter because she did amazing. I wish I would have caught her on camera review of Infinity War the first time because she loved it. What she loved, she loved everything but Hulk getting beat up. Because she's like, when she saw the beginning, she's like, what's going? She sees Thor, she's like, oh my god, what's going on? And then Hulk comes out of nowhere, so it's beating up Thanos, and she was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden the tables turned. She was like, she started holding me, and after they got past that part, she was good. And then the ending when everybody went to dust, and I live in a more a mixed area, but a lot of African American people went to see this movie because of Black Panther, and Black Panther turned into dust. She started clapping, and the guy next to me is a big black guy. I mean, he's probably 6'4", 300 pounds. He looked at her and said, she's a savage. And I said, I wish I'd have caught all that on camera. I was like, that was the best review by a 3-year-old ever. But I don't know if I'll take it to this one. I don't know if I'll take it to this one, but I would love to do a review with other people if anybody wants to do it after the weekend.
I'm going Thursday night.
Yeah, well, I'm going Sunday. But
yeah, me too.
I figured it'll give you give people the weekend to watch it and then talk about it.
Everybody should keep your spoiler reviews to yourself at least, even in the chat, until after the weekend. At least.
I would say out of respect, I would say at least after Sunday, because to me, all of us, if you're into the movies or into stuff like that, that should be enough time to see it. Thursday through Sunday.
Proper respect paid, like when you went to go see Scream and the person came walking out and they were like, okay, nobody say who the killer was,
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
You remember going to go watch some Scream movies and people come out?
Oh yeah.
So that's all I got going on. So
All right, TJ, I know you got a couple different shows going on now. What's in your docket?
You'll have to ask my agent, JD. JD, yes.
All right, so JD, what's TJ and you? What you guys got coming up then?
Okay, first of all, the next a week from tomorrow will be the 4th installment of Strange Are Things, and we're moving it to the core channel. And we're adding Comic Books NYC, and we're going to be talking original art.
Ooh.
Comparing some original art, whether it be commission art or sequential art or comic book art that are original comic book art, but original sketches, commissions, and art right there. And
TJ's got a really nice piece that he just acquired recently.
TJ, yeah, he does have.
Yes.
I
do have a nice piece.
He actually has something really cool that he showed me that I'm real excited for him to show everybody. And that's that, as well as what else we got. Tomorrow night, To Slab or Not to Slab is back. Who dat? So we are very excited about that coming back. We also have Wednesday night Comic Core Unlimited, John. So that'll be a good show. We're gonna have I'm working on trying to get Mr. Gow right now. We're definitely going to have Carson and Alec on there for a brief moment. We're very excited about that. And that's about it for me for the week. Thursday, Avengers, and then you guys run with your weekend shows, and I'll spend time with the family. So
you're not keeping them on the rails this week for the Friday night?
No, I will not be on the show this week. The Comic Core show this week. I'm Discovery Bay is going to be and some people from other channels are going to be joining us. It'll be quite a bit of fun on that show. I'm going to hand it off and enjoy watching it instead of helping it go off the rails sometimes.
Well, thank you to all 5 of you guys for coming on and trying this out for this late evening for most of you, and for everybody in the chat that stuck with us. I really, really appreciate it. It was
Hey,
a lot
John,
of fun.
what's
that?
Did you talk about Book Club Wednesday?
Yeah, book club is Wednesday, and we are doing Ascender, which is the follow-up to Descender, the series, and that'll be on Alex's channel this Wednesday at 8 o'clock Pacific.
Oh, John, one more thing I forgot to mention. I still have a contest going on. Kind of goes with the original art. You get 5 books, first Don Rosa work, some ducks, autographed Strange Tales, autographed Magnus. I'm a Southern bastard, sorry. The Venom Leaf Protector 1, and you get, of course, an appearance by Mr. Paste Pot Pete. And you will get an original sketch by the artist who did this for me of a character of your choice. Just follow that contest on there. It's pretty much a like and subscribe contest. That's it. Like, subscribe, comment contest. And that's it.
Well, that's all for me. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We're going to try to be doing this pretty regularly. So if you're interested in hanging out and joining the list, let us know on Instagram. And thank you and have a good night. JD, you're logging us out here, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you all for coming, and we appreciate it.